What happens when one man, with nothing but a prayer, challenges 450 prophets to a duel on a mountaintop? The stakes couldn't be higher. Prove whose God is real and win the heart of a nation. The result was more spectacular and terrifying than anyone could have imagined. To understand the audacity of this challenge, you have to know that the kingdom of Israel was spiritually sick. For 3.5 long years, a divine judgment declared by the prophet Elijah, not a single drop of rain had fallen. The king, Ahab, and his queen Jezebel had pushed the nation to worship a false god, Baal, the so-called god of rain. They sponsored hundreds of his prophets while hunting down the prophets of the God of Israel. The people starved, spiritually broken, and caught between two faiths. Into this hopeless situation, Elijah made his entrance. Appearing before the king he blamed for the famine. "Is that you troubler of Israel?" The king spat. Elijah, unintimidated, shot back, "I haven't made trouble for Israel. You and your family have. You've abandoned the Lord and followed the Baals." Then the lone prophet gave the king a command. "Summon all of Israel and the 450 prophets of Baal to the top of Mount Carmel." The stage was being set for a public, divine contest. On Mount Carmel, Elijah stood alone against the 450 prophets of Baal. He turned to the crowd, and his voice boomed a question that still echoes today. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. The people said nothing, so Elijah proposed a test they couldn't refuse. 2 bulls on 2 altars, but with no flame. "You call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord," he declared. "The God who answers by fire, he is God." The prophets of Baal went first. From morning until noon, they chanted and danced frantically around their altar, crying, "Baal, answer us!" But the only reply was silence. At noon, Elijah began to mock them. "Shout louder! Surely he is a god! Perhaps he's busy or traveling. Maybe he's sleeping and needs to be woken up." Goaded by his mockery, they screamed louder and slashed themselves with swords and spears, a bloody and desperate ritual. But by evening, there was no response. No voice, no answer. Their God was nothing. As the prophets of Baal collapsed in exhausted failure, Elijah stepped forward. He calmly rebuilt the Lord's ruined altar with 12 stones, one for each tribe of Israel. Then he did something that looked like pure insanity in a drought. He had the altar and the wood drenched with water. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, until a trench around it was filled to the brim. He was making it crystal clear. If this altar lit, it would be the work of God and God alone. With all eyes on him, Elijah spoke a short, powerful prayer, not for his own glory, but so the people would know the Lord is God. The response was immediate. Fire fell from heaven. This wasn't ordinary fire. It was a supernatural inferno that didn't just burn the offering and the wet wood. It consumed the very stones of the altar, the dust beneath it, and licked up every drop of water in the trench. Terrified and convinced, the crowd fell on their faces, and a single cry rose from thousands of witnesses, "The Lord, he is God." The duel was over. Following the law, the 450 false prophets were seized and executed. But God wasn't done. Elijah went back to the top of the mountain to pray for rain. Soon, a tiny cloud appeared, growing until the sky turned black, and a massive downpour began, ending the long, agonizing drought. The showdown on Mount Carmel was an unforgettable demonstration of real, living power versus empty religion. It's a testament to the courage of one person standing for truth against overwhelming odds. Elijah wasn't a superhero. Later, we see him afraid and exhausted. His courage was born from a faith that was bigger than his fear. His challenge, "How long will you waver?" reminds us that choosing to stand for what's true, even when it's not popular, can invite a power into our lives more spectacular than we can imagine. Elijah's story doesn't end here. To follow the rest of his journey and explore other profound biblical narratives, Make sure you're subscribed and have hit that notification bell. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this incredible showdown. Thanks for watching.